Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Racing Statistics YouTube channel. I am your host, Evan, the local master of numbers, and you will be joining us in Suzuka for free practice 2. I will be your sole commentator for the session, so I hope you're not too sick of my voice yet. I've been about a bit now. I've done a couple of sessions. This will actually be my first free practice 2 session. But yes, for those wondering, I will be taking this session. We will be having others taking the next session. I won't reveal who yet. That's up for you to discover. And then we will have our regular commentator, Grash, back for qualifying. And then I will also be joining you for the race. So hopefully it is a good one. Now, quick run through, of course, what happened in FP1. Really, I must confess, I wasn't able to watch it. I was in my Japanese class, quite ironically. And it was a pretty straightforward session from what I saw, though. We had Yor Hirakawa replacing Jack Doohan in the Alpine. He did pretty well, actually. He did better than his teammate, say, Pierre Gasly, with a finish of 12th at the end of it all, which is definitely a respectable time to put in. Of course, the talk of the town, Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson, how are they doing at their teams, or their new teams? Yuki Tsunoda, up there alongside Max Verstappen, which is very promising, of course. In the 2 weekends Liam was with the team, well, he didn't manage that once, so already very promising to see Tsunoda up alongside Verstappen, having finished 5th and 6th respectively. And Liam Lawson, he was 13th in that car, with Isaac Hadjar in 8th, which is definitely supporting my opinion that Isaac Hadjar is going to be a name that we'll remember for a fair while in Formula One, especially approaching the rest of his career, which will have unfortunately be marked with whatever with the unfortunate incident in Australia. However, I'm sure that give possible eventual podiums and wins, we will quickly forget about where it started, but where it currently is. Seeing some questions. Feel free to ask questions throughout. I will gladly answer them as we patiently wait for free practice 2 to start. We are roughly 28 minutes away from the start. So I'm seeing the question, how do we think Yuki Tsunoda will do? Well, Yuki, of course, he's in his, if I'm not wrong, 5th year in the sport. So he definitely knows his way around a Formula One car. Despite his age, he's slowly becoming one of the more and more experienced drivers on the grid, which is a weird thing to consider. I believe he's still in the bottom 10 for most years in the sport, but he's definitely far closer than you would expect for it. I think he's definitely capable of something rather impressive. I don't think beating Max, that's not this weekend's goal. This weekend's goal really is just be near Max, really. Like 1 position behind him, 2 positions, 3 positions. Crucially, not 20th. Like, if I'm to be really blunt, they just want him to make it out of Q1. Because currently Red Bull has not had either car. Has not had both cars make it out of Q1. Of course, Yuki Tsunoda in all qualifying sessions this year, as long as I'm not forgetting what happened in China sprint qualifying, has made it into the final stage of qualifying. So in what's meant to be the slower car. So I would imagine there's no real reason why he couldn't achieve similar things in what's meant to be an even faster car. So I would definitely imagine a very strong qualifying from Yuki. And his race pace as his career has gone on has definitely improved. So I do not see that one being an issue either. Of course, that's just my opinion. But we'll see. I'm just seeing Agnesh saying it's his birthday. Happy birthday. Uh, and as a little birthday present, we bring for you a free practice session. Uh, we are currently, weather-wise, it's looking decent. Track temperature's about where it was during FP1. We're seeing 37.3 track temp, 13.8 air temp, which, all things considered, is reasonably low. However, as the weekend goes on, it looks like it's going to be getting damper and damper. Good weather for a duck, one might say. Now, we don't know if it could be close to what we had in Australia, which, as someone who was trackside for Australia, that was pretty wet. However, we don't know for sure. It might be just spat. From what I'm seeing, it looks like it's mostly just going to be in the morning that we're going to have the rain, which will definitely which would definitely affect the race, despite the fact that it'll be in the evening. Or no, sorry, not evening, afternoon. The race will be in the afternoon. However, of course, the track will likely still be damp. And from memory, I think the percentages are about 40 to 20% chance of rain in the afternoon. So there's still a chance we could get a bit more spitting later. Seeing the question, how many Indians are there? There are a couple of them, of course, being the most populous nation in the world. I would imagine that's probably not the question you're asking, though. Of course, we would love to hear where you are viewing this stream from. Formula One is an international sport and should be viewed as such. Of course, I can only speak English, so we do the best we can, but we would love to hear where you're from. And for those who aren't aware, because of course I am still reasonably new, I'm Australian. Some of you might have picked it from my accent. I do my best to hide it, but in particular, I'm from Tasmania, which is the little island state just to the south of mainland Australia. I'm seeing the United Kingdom, North Texas. I wonder who that could be. Wouldn't be anyone I know. Kansas, India, yeah. We've definitely got Netherlands, yes. And something I feel like I should also mention, because I feel bad if I don't say it. I do know that we do have regular viewers. However, of course, being reasonably new, I'm not in the know as to who our regulars are. But to our regulars, thank you for joining us once again. Your support is much appreciated. Along with support, you can support us by leaving a like on the stream. And of course, if you want to see more commentary from us, feel free to leave a like. Just seeing a message from Gobinder Dylan. Pleasure seeing that you are new to watching F1. Of course, it's a pleasure to have new watchers. It would be actually, yes, it would be about now, last year, that I truly became an F1 fan. So I'm not one to discriminate. Sorry, I can't. Long day. I'm not one to discriminate against new viewers. Everyone should be able to appreciate this sport. So it is a pleasure to have new watchers of the sport, as it makes viewing it much better when we've got as many people as possible. Seeing a hello from Japan, from Tikimon. I don't know whether you are trackside or not, or whether you're just in Japan. Either way, I hope you're enjoying the convenient time zones. Something else that is worth mentioning is we have 2 custom liveries this weekend, which is pretty early on in the season considering it's only the 3rd race of the year. We have Haas, who revealed their livery first. They revealed a cherry blossom livery, which of course it is cherry blossom season currently in Japan. So photos you might see around the track, you will likely see some cherry blossom about. They were what they've done is they put cherry blossom patterns across multiple parts of the car, and they've made the Haas logo on the side have a pink fade in it, which looks quite nice. I think it's a very beautiful livery. However, of course, I can't talk about things that are going on livery wise without mentioning the white bull, which Red Bull has brought along for the second time in Suzuka. However, this one's got a little bit of a spin to it, which I don't know if everyone actually knows this bit of information, but the reason that because it doesn't look identical to how they ran the old white livery, and it's not just that they've removed all the blacky blue parts of the car and replaced them with white. What they've done is it's actually a homage to an old livery, which Honda ran in the 1960s. For those who aren't aware, Honda ran as a works team in the 60s and also in the 2000s, and they saw reasonable success. They got a lucky to an extent win with Richie Ginther in Mexico from memory. However, they didn't see enough success where they saw it worth staying in the sport beyond the 60s. So they left the sport then. However, of course, Honda has been producing engines for quite a while. They've produced engines for McLarens, for crucially Red Bulls in this scenario. And that's why they're paying homage to the old Honda livery, is because, of course, it is Honda's home Grand Prix, as Honda is a Japanese company, and they are making Red Bull's engines, which, of course, I doubt Max would do very well if he didn't have an engine in his car. I'm sure he could give it a great shot, but skill will only get you so far. Just saying, I'm going to enjoy the race from Tokyo, from Tikimon. Great to hear. Tokyo's a beautiful city. I was actually there last year at this time, during the time the Japanese Grand Prix was happening. Hence why I know it's been about a year since I started watching Formula One. And yeah, Tokyo's a beautiful city. I really hope you enjoyed there. Or you might be living there. Sorry, I don't know why I assumed you were traveling. You might be, you might not be. Either way, I hope you're enjoying Tokyo. Opinion on Sainz performance? Good question. Carlos Sainz, of course, currently in, from FP1 in 10th, which is also where he managed to scrape a point in the Chinese Grand Prix after 3 penalties or disqualifications being dished out for Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, and Pierre Gasly. Which, of course, I assume was covered in the FP1 broadcast. The penalties that were given to these drivers, Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly, were found to be underweight, whilst Lewis Hamilton's car was found to be too low to the ground, which is that part is really just safety procedures, because the car's too low to the ground. It goes over a slight bump. The amount of damage that can cause can also cause the driver to lose control. And this move was in response to the crash of Ayrton Senna, who, speaking of, has, I believe, is second for most wins around the Suzuka circuit, only behind the one, the only Michael Schumacher, who, oh, I'm going to get this wrong, aren't I? It's, I think, 7 wins off the top of my 7 or 6. Uh, some with his Benetton days, and however, the large majority of them being with his Ferrari days. Speaking of success at this circuit, despite the fact that, of course, we've never had a Japanese race winner and we've never had a Japanese champion, of course, we have had Japanese podium sitters, and notably, 2 drivers, Japanese drivers, who never won races, got their sole podiums in Suzuka. So, for those who are not aware of this, Aguri Suzuki, who raced in the 80s and 90s, and far more recently, Kamui Kobayashi, had a both got podium finishes, the best finishes of their careers in Suzuka. So, generally speaking, the home circuit seems to be, or the home advantage seems to be pretty strong for Japanese drivers. I saw a statistic recently that Yuki Tsunoda has never been out qualified in Japan. Of course, teammates he's had whilst being in Japan, Pierre Gasly, Liam Lawson, Daniel Ricciardo. I believe that's it. Yes, that's it. Because did Nick De Vries race in Japan? I think. God, I'm forgetting the 2023 calendar. No, he didn't. Japan was later in the year. So those were the 3 teammates he's beaten here. Of course, now he has the multiple-time champion Max Verstappen, who will likely prove challenging to beat. Thank you from Tamil Gaming for the confirmation that Schumacher is 7 wins. Stumbling in the dark here, I saw these statistics very briefly whilst passing by. Of course, as Grash is saying in chat, feel free to ask me any questions. I'm pretty good with my knowledge on, or whether it be just opinions or knowledge on F1. I'm pretty solid, so I should be able to answer any questions you should have. As long as it's not telling you for certain who's going to win the championship, I can't promise I can tell you that one, because really it could be a lot of drivers. Once again, you are here with the Racing Statistics YouTube channel. My name is Evan, your local master of numbers, and it is about 13 minutes until the FP2 session for the Japanese Grand Prix will start. Seeing conversation about Yuki and mid-season driver swaps, I feel like it is worth mentioning. I believe it was from Sky Sports. If not, it was another reasonably reputable source that, from an interview with Helmut Marko, where he was asked how many Grand Prix does Yuki Tsunoda have to prove himself? Because, of course, everyone's a bit worried, of course, because Liam barely got 2. Just asking how long will he have to prove himself before they decide, all right, that's enough, we're going to pray Isaac Hadjar can cope with it, which, of course, everyone could probably reasonably guess he wouldn't. However, we are likely to, I believe we are unlikely to see this, as Helmut Marko said that Yuki has till the end of the year. I see this and I think, okay, So that means at Red Bull, at least, the team lineup as it is currently will stay the same unless something goes wrong. And by something going wrong, I usually mean someone being injured. So a driver has to step in. Who that driver who would step in would be is a wonderful question because whilst they had other drivers, there was always the point of they could swap, like they could always just move Yuki up if they ever got injured or were sick. But now Yuki's in that seat full time, so if he were to injure himself, we don't know who they would replace him with. Uh, Saying to be fair, Yuki was a bit of a hothead in his early years. Yes, definitely. I won't comment about his height having any connection to that, but it's definitely possible. He, of course, started back in 2021, where he also got his best career finish, where he managed to scrape into fourth in a slightly infamous Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I won't get into that one too much. I know it's a touchy subject. As we are approaching 10 minutes till we will get underway for our free practice session around the Suzuka circuit, the second free practice session of 3 that we will have before moving to qualifying and the race, which will be on track time Sunday. However, it may be varied times, or it will be varied times depending on where you live. So it might be Monday for some of you. It might be Saturday for some of you. I don't think it will be Saturday for some of you. No, it won't be. But I hope you'll be able to join us for that. As I do know it can be a rather inconvenient time to an extent for a lot of individuals. And of course, considering that, shout out to everyone who is joining us from Europe and the States. As off the top of my head, I can assume those aren't great time zones. I would imagine it's pretty late for the Americans and pretty early for our Europeans fans, where of course a lot of the fan base is based. So thank you for joining us at such an ungodly hour. For those curious, the official broadcast has begun. Where we're getting some brilliant views of the circuit, and we can see that the cherry blossom is indeed in full bloom, which of course is very exciting. I imagine we'll get some brilliant views as a byproduct, and probably some pretty good photos, if I were to guess. Yes, thank you. From Paul Gonzalez, saying confirmation it is 11 p.m. in Arizona. So I would imagine if, with that being considered, it's probably about 1, 2 a.m. on the east coast of the United States, and it's 4 or 5 a.m. across around the United Kingdom, and then toppling times accordingly across the rest of Europe. So thank you all for joining us for this broadcast, despite the unpleasant times. Just reading from a message from Call Me Shaggy. I saw a claim that practice times don't matter towards the rest of the weekend. However, I thought they were used to determine the grid order if qualifying and or more practices couldn't be held before. Uh, correct. That used to be how it was. So, and this is a reasonably new change, so I don't blame you for not knowing this. This was in response to what happened in Brazil last year, where they didn't get qualifying done when they intended to. So what they do now is, yes, they go by championship standings. So, of course, currently that would mean we would have Lando Norris and Max Verstappen lining up on the front. Yes, Lando and Max lining up on the front row with George and Oscar just behind them. One thing that is worth mentioning about the championship standings is how close it is from second to fourth, with only 2 points across them in total. Oscar is on 34, George Russell is on 35, and Max Verstappen is on 36 points, with Lando currently leading the championship. As to what will happen, we don't know how they will finish, of course, but depending on where they finish will pretty much decide the championship standings. So if Oscar finishes ahead of Max and then ahead of George, that will loosely shuffle around to Oscar being second, Max being third, and George being fourth. So I would imagine that if they find themselves on similar parts of track, they will be fighting each other pretty hard. But yes, for confirmation, to an extent, practice doesn't really matter, but it does matter in the sense of there is value in knowing how others are in where people's paces are. You can make predictions for the weekend or for the important sessions, and of course, it serves so much use to the teams because because they haven't raced these cars in Suzuka, of course. So this is how they learn what it will be like. As we approach 5 minutes before we start the FP2 session in Suzuka. Message from Philip asking about F1 TV Premium. Oh, I must confess I don't have F1 TV, so I don't know the specifics about it. But when it comes to watching driver onboards, from my understanding, from the many plugs, if you watch the Sky Sports Sky Sports commentary, you'll have seen the many plugs. So I'm sure, so I'm fairly certain that you can decide which driver you would like to view and get there on board and listen to their radios, I believe. So if you're willing to pay that, you can get access to that. Hello, Ellie Cook. It's a pleasure to have you here. We are just hitting over 800 viewers. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here as we are 3.5 minutes away from starting. Of course, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to support us and what we do. You'll be hearing from me again on race day. However, we will have an assortment of other voices joining you during FP3 and qualifying. And from what I've been informed upon, a voice which you won't have heard of before or heard on this channel before. So look forward to that. That will be pretty exciting. Welcome back to qualifying, Cyberwolf. As long as I'm not mistaken, it is not qualifying. It is FP2 that we will be watching here. We will get qualifying roughly this time tomorrow, I believe. I believe a bit later. I don't have this schedule off the top of my head. I will double check for you though. It will be yes, the same time as we currently are. Yes, free practice. Don't worry. 2 a.m. mindset is tough on everyone. As we are about to start, we are 2 minutes out. Don't currently have a visual on the pit lane, but it will be just a minute before the drivers start lining up at the end of the pit lane to start getting some laps in. Of course, the goal will be for the drivers that people seem to care about a lot. The goal for Yuki will be to, of course, bring a similar performance he did in FP1. Lawson preferably be a bit close to Isaac, and Oscar show what he can really do after what was generally speaking, a bit of a rougher FP1. For those curious, the ties that are being brought to this weekend are the C1s, the C2s, and the C3s. As of course, with the twisting turns of the S's from turns 3 to 7, they do a lot of damage to the tires. And of course, you've got your high speed corners like the infamous 130R. We are now 1 minute out from the start of this. Did any teams bring in upgrades? I do not believe any teams have brought upgrades. Of course, it is very early on in the season. Usually, it'll be of course, if we look at last year, I don't believe anyone had upgrades by Australia. We are, of course, 4 weeks into the season now, so we still have time for drivers to. We still have time for teams to build things to upgrade the cars. Seeing a message from Cyberwolf, I believe Racing Bulls and Hats brought tweaked parts. I'm not confident off the top of my head, but thank you if that is correct. We were just seeing a shot there of Lando Norris getting into the car, where he will be getting ready to show what that McLaren can do. He did have a bit of an off during FP1, but we are ready. We have green lights in the pit lane, and drivers may now begin entering the track. And from the looks of things, can't quite see who's currently on track. Doesn't actually look like anyone's lined up at the end of the pit lane, which, of course, is what you would usually expect. Yes, the light has gone green indeed. As we see an Alpine, I'm not confident which one, a Williams of, I believe, Carlos Sainz. Yes, everyone has now begun exiting the pit lane. Is Jack doing a practice start, as we also see Pierre Gasly getting out on track and going around in the Alpine. Of course, Jack Doohan will be getting his first feels for the car. So his first couple of laps might not be super representative. However, I'm sure with time they will look better and better. As behind Gasly, we have Lawson coming out on track, then Alex Albon, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Charles Leclerc is as much as I can currently see. Currently, most of the cars I'm seeing have hard compound tyres on. Lawson's got some mediums, Bortoleto's got some mediums, Tsunoda and Ocon have got some mediums. As both Tsunoda and Ocon now go on track. Nico Hulkenberg is now out on track. It will be but a minute till we start having lap time set. And next on track after Doohan has now gotten on track. He's done his start. Ocon is out on track. Hadjar's on track. Then Alonso, Behrman, and Hamilton. Then Stroll behind Hamilton will enter track. And Antonelli and from the looks of things, the last on track shall be Piastri and Russell. So everyone is getting out there, making sure that they are using this session. As Carlos Sainz is entering the final chicane, where he will then begin his first proper timed lap of the session. Of course, during free practice 2, of course, it's a slightly more. Carlos Sainz has entered the pits saying that something is wrong with the car. He's feeling a lot of bouncing. So they are wheeling him back in, meaning Gasly will get the first timed lap, and we will see where that how that lap looks once some more times tumble. Very unfortunate for Carlos Sainz. Really not what he would have been needing at this stage. Anyways, as I was saying, feel free to continue to ask questions because, of course, the FP2 sessions, along with other free practice sessions, can be a bit slower. So it can be a good time to ask questions. As yes, we're getting a replay of Carlos going through 130R, which is turn, which is the turn he was talking about, bouncing a lot. So definitely not what he would be looking for. As whilst I was talking, George Russell entered the track, which means currently everyone, except for I missed Verstappen and Norris are still in the pits, as Gasly will be completing the first time lapped or first timed lap very soon. As we see Gasly go up a fair way. Of course, doesn't mean much currently with a 1:31.4. Lawson jumps ahead of him, a 1:30.7. Of course, he's on the medium tyres, so that is worth considering. Albon jumps up to third temporarily before Bortoletto pushes him down, also on the medium tyres. However, not much ahead of Albon, so that does not mean much. As Charles Leclerc jumps up to third. And Yuki Tsunoda goes to the top with a 1:36.25. Definitely what he will want to be seeing. He is, of course, also on the medium tyres. Nico Hulkenberg. Oh, okay, that's a good lap from Nico. A 1:38.47. As Isaac Hadjar. Okay, Isaac, wow. Isaac with a 1:30.308 is that time. So a very strong lap from him. As Hamilton now goes up to the top with a 1:29.550. We have Alonso has jumped up to second. With Antonelli up to eighth. Must say, pretty decent lap as Piastri goes up to fifth. Sorry, just struggling with some formatting issues on my end. It's having a moment. We're all good. Currently, the lap times are still tumbling. Lando Norris is out on track, and so is Verstappen. And the only people we get to set up are, oh, never mind. There goes George Russell up to the top with a fastest lap of 1:29.666. He was looking quite pacey prior. So he will lead for the minute with the fastest lap, with Norris and Verstappen now being the only drivers yet to set a lap. However, Norris is currently on a lap, and Verstappen will be up to start his. Oh, as I'm just getting a notification of a yellow flag. Haven't seen what's caused this yet. I will let you know as soon as I see it. Red flag. This session has been red flag. I'm yet to see what's actually gone wrong, though. I'm not sure why I am up to date on that end. Yes, I've just got the broadcaster's just got the notification of the track hazard. Oh wow, okay, that's an Alpine. I don't know which Alpine. In the wall. That is Jack doing in the wall. What pretty big crash into the first corner. The left hand side of that car is very much not intact. There's a wheel disconnected. It looks like what's happened from the skid marks I'm seeing across the graphic is he's turned right to enter that first corner, and he's just gotten and the rear's gone out on him, and he slid into the wall from the left. There does look to be some damage to the tire wall as we're getting confirmation that he is okay. However, I will imagine that that wall will take a minute to fix, meaning that we will have to wait a bit longer. Currently, George Russell has set the fastest lap, with Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso finishing out the top three. As we see Jack Doohan comfortably getting out of the car. He doesn't seem to have any injuries of any sort. However, with a crash of that scale, I would imagine he is rather shaken. So yes, confirming he is indeed out of the car. However, of course, this is a big hit to him because, of course, he missed out on FP1 due to the fact that they had Ryo Hidakara stepping in. Doohan is another Logan Sargent. I think it's a bit early. He's the third race to say that he's necessarily another Logan Sargent. As I'm just watching the broadcast. Doohan seems to be fiddling to an extent with something in the cockpit. Oh no, actually no, that wasn't Doohan out. Doohan was still in the cockpit. He's only now getting out of the car. And mistook the track marshal next to him. That took him quite a while. Yes, that's looking a bit tender getting out of that Alpine wreckage. We have the medical car out, which means that he did experience more than, I believe it's 15 Gs. I will send the medical car out immediately. Was it a car failure? We haven't seen yet. Yeah, Jack is he seems to be needing some support from the track marshals to walk comfortably. So he does look to be quite shaken by what's happened. He is definitely okay. He will probably be, by all reason, be able to participate in FP3 qualifying in the race. However, that will definitely be him out of FP2. I'm yet to see a replay of the crash. Here. Now we are getting the replay, so I can confirm for you what has happened in just a minute. He comes down the main straight, looking quite comfortable, about to start his lap. Yet, whoa! What? What on earth happened there? That was so fast. Get an off-board view of that. Wow. Okay. That was wow. I'm kind of left speechless by that. That's a really big I don't blame him for being. That's with the amount of force he hit. Okay, yeah, Doohan seems confused by what happened there, and I really don't. That was a rear. Yeah, it's just the rear just disappears. He just has no rear. Sorry, yes, I'm doing my best to explain what's happened. I'm not even sure if Alpine totally understands what's happened here. But entering turn one, doing the rear just completely stepped out. But it didn't look. I'm trying to not be biased. But it looked like he just had no rear at all. He turned that car and it just went nearly immediately. It, but the thing is, he didn't look like he got get with us where you make this attempt to make the steering wheel adjustment because you feel it going. He was just driving and it and the rear just completely left. I really can't explain it. Seeing reports that he left the DRS open. I might be wrong, but from my understanding, when you put the if the DRS was still open, I might be completely wrong in my understanding of this, but from my understanding, DRS will close when you brake. From my understanding, it's a part of how the DRS works. I may be wrong. Uh, but yes, I would be tempted to say it was a DRS. It was the DRS not shutting, because is he okay? When he definitely was very shaken getting out of that car. He seemed pretty tender walking. So yes, personally, if you were to ask me, I think there was a DRS failure. It's really hard to look at that and say that was Doohan's fault. But of course, the worst, the was it a hard crash? It was a very hard crash. The side pod, because it was the left-hand side of the car that hit. The tire, the rear tire was completely ripped off. The, the, the front tire suspension was completely. Pretty. Seeing people saying Doohan forgot to turn off the DRS. How I believe DRS turn just like you have to you cannot DRS brake. You'd be wrong, and I'm willing to be corrected if that is the case. But either way, the DRS definitely didn't shut. Whether it was him not pressing the button or the car failing to shut it. We will see eventually. I imagine we will get. I'm not sure. Porting my voices, I do apologize. The internet isn't always the best. Now, a quarter of the way into the session. And George Russell currently tops the times as no one has come more than one lap. The issues on people's end. Okay, I'm seeing that there are stream issues. I don't know if anyone. Reviewing did not. So can would have say fellow eyes. I think that yes. If we yes, here we go. Here we go. Hello, I believe. All right. Sorry, yes, we had some mechanical issues on nearly everyone's end there for a minute. But I believe we are all good now. I apologize. Additions we remaining. Yeah, really apologize. Wi-Fi coping. I might have to, if I'm out, can't be heard. Um, so this is happening. There's not much. Um, uh, we will have Crash joining me in a
I want
minute.
to apologize.
Well,
We're having issues with Evan's internet connection at the moment. This is Gresh. Just joined on the stream. Again, we're in a red flag scenario because Jack Doohan has crashed. Basically, what we know from what they're talking on F1 TV is that they were looking at his driver's wheel, and there's 5 green lights that were on. That indicates that the DRS was open, and so it looks like DRS did not close when Jack went into the first turn. And basically, with the DRS open, the downforce that's in the back of the car, basically he lost the back of the car because there wasn't downforce there. And basically, if you look at what we saw, basically he just spun out in a circle, and basically ended up sideways into the wall, into the tire barrier, at the end of basically turn 1. So Jack Doohan did get out of the car. He was helped out of the car by medical. That's a precaution. He was brought to the medical vehicle, and he's going to go undergo basically, medical. It looks like Evan's having an issue that he looks like he's not going to be. Are we losing? Evan, you may want to drop the call and reconnect. That might usually helps with Discord. So we're looking. Can we hear you now, Evan? Trying to see if we can hear. We're not hearing Evan at this point. Again, we are under a red flag scenario because Jack Doohan has crashed. It's a big crash, and they've got to take a while to put back the tire barrier, also clean up the area. Yet Doohan also looked hooked. He could be injured. We don't know yet. It could be shock with a crash like this. Again, you're listening to Race Specific YouTube channel. This is our coverage of the second practice here at Japan at the Suzuka track. They are still currently cleaning up the area where Jack crashed. The tire barrier looks like has been replaced. There's still a lot of vehicles out on track in that area. Okay. So we are having issues with Evan's internet. I apologize. In advance, I want to apologize for what happened with Evan's internet connection. Um, Basically, this is Crash. I'm going to take over for the rest of the session. Um, so again, go figure. A red flag happens, and yeah, go figure. Red flag. Evan has a red flag on his internet connection. We have a red flag on track at the same time. Yeah, no one, yeah, nobody's winning. All right. So a reset right now. I want to thank those of you who are still here with us. Um, they are progressing particularly well with getting the track into place. So it should be five. Oh, here we go. Race control. So we jumped in at 15:30. So that will be in about 6 minutes. So I was about to say 5-10 minutes. It's going to be 6 minutes. They will. They estimate that they will be back on track. It is interesting. They just had a shot of some cherry trees in the area. Yeah, great red flag. I guess this is a red flag counter for me. For this. Yeah, there was a nice shot of cherry trees. They're in blossom right now, so that's why you're seeing essentially the like the Haas car has the cherry blossom on it. We are in a red flag scenario because Jack Doohan basically crashed his car. There was a mechanical issue. We're not sure if it's a driver issue that caused it or something that should have happened automatically. But the DRS didn't close, and with that not closing, Jack basically lost the back of his car, spun multiple times too, not just like multiple circles. Yeah, the Juggernaut is pointing out in chat that F1 TV pointed out that you need to manually close the DRS on that turn, and he didn't. So Kelly just pointing out if Doohan can't race, Alpine have a higher. He basically drove an FP1 this morning. Colapino is also a reserve. I don't know who is, and they got Lord Winters over at the Trackside Medical Center, and this is a precautionary. This is precautionary measure. Standard by the force that he took into that crash was high, and just so by the G forces involved with that crash, it is a mandatory checkout of basically he's taken to the medical center and it's an automatic evaluation. So we'll see how he again. They've got Laura Winters over at the medical center right now. We don't know um, where he is at the moment. A question: will the FI look at the car before giving it? I don't think so. They'll give it right back to Alpine. Um, Doing is okay. He's out of the he got it out of the car. He was helped to medical. It was helped to the medical car by the medical. It looks like he may have been. Some people think he looked by the way he was walking. He may have injured something. And it reminds me of when Ricardo got injured. He looked similar in that vein. So we will find out soon what the situation is. He is being looked at medical. Why so a long red flag? Part of it is that they had to basically clean up a large area of gravel. They had to replace again. Not only did they have to get the car off the track, the car is in multiple pieces on the track at this point. They had to replace the tire barriers, and they also had to clean a large portion of the gravel. And as cars are now coming back to pit lane. The McLarens are going to be the first on the first to get on the line. I think Mercedes is next. Ferrari is going. One of the Ferraris got on the line. The other. We're about 1 minute and a half before we go back to the session resumes. So session resume at 15:30. That's within 2 minutes right now. It's for me. It's 1:28. So basically 1:30. My local time is 15:30 local time in Japan. Hirakawa is one of the reserve drivers for Alpine. Again, we went over this in P1. Alpine has 4 reserve drivers. Aaron Paul, Ryo Hirakawa, Filipino, and man. Again, it's 4. I keep forgetting the 4th one. Again, someone will put in chat who I'm missing. If doing her, it's Eric gets the drive. It depends who is here. It could. I would hope Hirakawa gets the drive. That would be good PR for Alpine. But it could be Colapino. If Colapino's in Japan, then he could potentially be the driver who gets. And that's the expectation, is that he would eventually be the driver in Alpine at some point because they brought him in. Japanese fans really love Japanese fans. They have like the most interesting hats, outfits, custom made things. So like they've got one fan for Red Bull has a paddle for Max and one for Yuki. They had a fan next to him doing the Mercedes. I could see the Charles Leclerc paddle. I would expect that his another hand has another paddle basically to cheer for Hamilton. We are only in English language chat, unfortunately, Rhino. So my apologies there. If we had mods for other languages, we would support more languages. We just don't. My apologies. Maybe Colin would take his seat. It's a possibility that if he's injured, it's one of those scenarios where if someone, I would expect that Jack would get another shot, um, basically to get back in the car and keep his position, keep his seat after he recovered. And that's typically what you expect in other sports. Doesn't always happen, and I've seen this in other sports as well. So in being F1 being so ruthless, um, it could happen that if Jack is basically injured, um, it could be that he doesn't come back. So we'll see. Kush Manani, that's the 4th one I'm missing. Thank you for Cyber for putting again Kush Manani, Franco Colapino, Paul Aaron, and Rio Hirakawa. I hope I pronounced those names correctly. If I did not correctly pronounce them, please roast me in chat. Oh, that's really cool. It was that shot of some fans. They've got little plushie. They look like they're customly made plushies of one of them. I don't know. I assume it's Lando, but it could be Oscar because it was a McLaren plushie. There were obviously 2 plushies that were Leclerc and Hamilton, and then there was one else. Hirakawa.
Well, the first
Thank you.
car out was
Thank you, Garmy. So McLaren were the first ones to get out onto track. Mercedes is next. We've got Leclerc, then Tsunoda, Hamilton, then Russell, Alonso. Sainz is coming out. Lawson looks like he's going to be next. And it looks like Sainz, then Lawson, Gasly. And then one of the Haas's. It looks like Esteban is going to be out after Gasly. And then Albon. So a lot of people getting out on track right now. Excuse me. 20, just under 20 minutes to go in this session. Again, we had a red flag because of basically Jack Doohan crashed hard into the wall, lost the back of his car. Issue with DRS, and we're not sure. It's a contention where we're not sure if it's a driver issue or a mechanical failure, but we know it's related to DRS. If you get one custom made piece of merchandise for F1, what would you want? This is kind of funny because my sister showed me some Lego sets recently. Um, and they're about in American money, it's about $26, $27 for each of these sets. And they have about, I think, 1,400 pieces. Or no, it was about 350 pieces, approximately for each of the sets. They had a McLaren that looked really good, a Williams that looked really good. They have a steak set. They have a Red Bull set, but it's not the current Red Bull livery. It was a older Red Bull livery in that style. They do have um, like 1,000 piece sets, and those are about $200 $300. But these smaller ones, they had like a minifig, a tire rack. I've seen the tire rack before. So those are the Legos. Um, the, Again, not custom made, but and we have a yellow flag track hazard, and we'll see if that resolves. That should if that doesn't resolve, it means something has happened. We are on a red flag already again. What happened? What? So we are. Oh, okay. So Alonso has we are on a red flag scenario because Alonso has found himself into a gravel trap and he is stuck. Oh boy. Um. Yeah, he's beached in the gravel trap and he can't move. He just spun his wheels and just dug in. So we've got to go recover the car. Yeah, red again because Alonso has beached into about in a in, in the gravel trap. He's getting and he's fine. He's getting out of the car. It's not. It's literally we have to go back and take a look. I know this has been a really interesting session. Um, I guess my red flag counter is one now. Actually, Evan gets one. I get one. Um, Maybe we bring in Scotch and he gets one too as well. Uh, Boy, that's the way this session's going at the moment. Why is a red flag? Alonso went into gravel and he basically drifts. And when he drifts, when he turns, he drifts in the gravel and he gets stuck. Man, yeah, Stroll outperforming Alonso right now. That's who knew that would be a thing in this first three races so far. This is not a crash. This is more uh, Alonso is beached in gravel, and because he's stuck in gravel and can't move, it means he now needs help. Any help. Oh yeah, basically he stops and the car drops down and he spins his wheel and he oh yeah, he beaches himself. So basically in this scenario, he needs help to get out of the gravel, and that's basically because he stopped. That's what's bringing out the red flag. So this should be pretty quickly. It should be done pretty quickly because the car didn't crash. It's just stuck. So they basically just need to go out and grab the car out of the gravel and take it off the track. So it's not a crash. I want to be clear. Alonso did not crash the car, so he didn't hit barriers or anything. That's why we're qualifying. He basically went into the gravel, drifted, and then got stuck. So again, you're listening to the Racing YouTube channel. This is our second red flag. This time with your harbinger. Of course, it's me, Grash, your harbinger of red flags here with you. I want to thank the 2,204 watching right now. I want to thank the 405 likes that we've got so far. Thank you so much. Again, they have the car already out of the gravel. Where is it? And it's behind the tire barriers already. So Yeah, I want to thank again. We want to thank like L. I want to thank Cyber. I want to thank Dark and Shay for being here. These are the people. You see them there in green. They've got a badge next to their name. They're throwing a few bucks each month to help support the channel. I refer to them as the family. Again, yes, that is a very much Fast and Furious reference. If you guys don't know, but but when I was sick 2 years ago, basically you and the other regulars gave me a lot of moral support as I was recovering when I was in the hospital. I appreciate that. I know there's how other use like Juggernaut is a regular, Yanni is a new regular. Yanni's here. Yanni's been green a couple times. um, those are those are people who have subscribed to the channel. Again, if you subscribe and you hit the bell, you'll get notifications when we go live. And again, those of you who joined basically have access to a bunch of emojis. They also have a super chat each month that they stay subscribed. So Alonso is again fine. Okay, he's out of the car. He's actually on the back of a scooter, and he's on his way. It looks like um, back to basically the paddock at this point. Eric, I'm calling it another red flag. And okay, we have not been given a new time for. Okay, so track has gone green, so it's just a matter of now time when we're probably going to go green light. So track is green. Cars are lining up on pit lane. We will probably go green light. So the pit lane exit. There's a light at the end of pit lane. So 4:51. So in the end of this minute, basically. Teams knew that pretty much from the get-go. And they're basically holding cars up so they don't cause a pileup. We're just waiting for waiting for the pit lane light to go green. Lonzo probably has some floor damage though. Yeah, with the amount, the way he going through the gravel is not good. The way he drifted in the gravel and the way he beached in the gravel, there's probably some floor damage that we're looking at. And we should see them go out in any minute, any second now. So we got 19 minutes to go. Okay, so we have a green light and the cars are now coming out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're going to expect a lot of the cars. Ooh, what is going on? Ooh, Russell's doing a very aggressive. He's trying to pass. I think one of the racing bulls, and he's going to go up. He's going to get to Russ. Russell's going to get to Leclerc, and he's going to try and pass him. The way things are going, very aggressive pit lane exit from Russell. So he goes by. So he goes past one. Oh my God. Oh, so it was Max who he passed pretty much going out of the pits. He, basically, as they come out of the pits, he's passing Max on the inside. Very, very aggressive from Russell. Very odd from Russell, too. And Rick, don't jinx us. I'm just checking. Did Jack Doohan crash? Yes, Tammy, he did crash. Not brought out the first red flag. Why is Alonso in the middle of the track and it says he's in the pit? Because he crashed. That's approximately where he crashed on the track. Well, not crashed. He beached. Let me back. Alonso did not crash. He got beached in gravel, and that's approximately where he got beached. Yeah. So it looks like Russell's going to pass his teammate on track. Leclerc has right now got the fastest first sector. And Russell's only 0.0 to 8, I believe. Difference between him and Leclerc in that first sector. Alonso, what? Yeah, I'm not gonna look at Alonso's time. Yeah, so they're going pretty fast. Russell, so Leclerc fastest second sector. Russell improving his second sector. He's one within a tenth. Kirk's going to go P1 basically with 128.617. Here comes Russell. He's going to go take that from him, fastest third sector. So the time that basically two tenths faster in that sector 3. So that's how Russell takes it. Gasly's just took it from him. He's gone about a tenth faster than him for P3 until Max takes P3. Max takes the fastest, goes faster than Russell about 22 hundredths. And then we've got Hamilton doing a 17.538 in that last sector. He goes P1. Isaac has gone P1. So we're getting our, again, these are 128s. We've seen, yeah, these are 128s. We were seeing 130s, 129s and 130s in P1. So track has definitely getting some track evolution. It seems that F1 is the only they're the only one here this weekend. So there's no Porsche Cup or F3, F2 or F1 Academy this weekend. So it's just F1. So we are going to see some track evolution, and that will be something that will come into play again. We're expecting to see rain. There's a 20% chance of rain at the end of that. Typically, as we get towards the end of qualifying, there's a chance of rain at the end of that, and there's actually a 80% chance of rain going into the race itself. And so, if it rains, that's going to take out any of the rubbering that we're happening right now, and so we will get a new track evolution happen on track. Oh my God. What? We have another red flag. What? What's going on? Oh, so we have a red flag because there is a fire in the grass. So the grass here in Japan, for the most part, it's a gray, it's yellow. It's a very dry grass, and so we have a patch of grass that is now on fire. Hey boss, do you have a fire? A fire? I know you have the fire because we had the fire on grass last year in China, and you had a gift for fire. So grass is on fire. I'm not really sure which turn 34. 3 red flags in one practice session has happened, Pookie. I have had 3 red flags in one. This is not. So who set the? So the question is who let the 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 grass on fire. Grass on fire. Oh, what a disaster. Why is there a red flag? Because there's a fire on at the track at the moment. There's a patch of grass that is on literally on fire, and they have to put it out. Harbinger red flags? Yes, I am. China lost their first time. Yeah. So we are in our third red flag session because a patch of grass at the track has lit on fire, and so we need to basically for safety reasons, we have to get them off the track, and we got to get them off track so that the marshals can get out and use the extinguishers on that patch of grass. Barbecue at turn 7. My God. I suspect that um again the grass is not green. Let's put down calm down, Crash. Grass was spray painted. My God. So the grass at Suzuka is not green. Let's be very clear. It's not green grass. It is a brown, orange, uh water deprived looking grass. Driver saying sparks from the cars get caused. Yeah, that's obvious. It's just which driver caused it is the better question. That will People will probably figure that out through the driver cams at some point. So I'm betting one more red flag. That would be a um that would be something if we got another red flag. So right now it's a question of when the track turns green. So we're under 10 minutes to go in this session right now. Again, you're listening to the Exit YouTube channel. You are with the Harbinger Red Flags. Um, First red flag was Jack Doohan crashing. Second red flag was Alonso beaching himself in the gravel pit. This third red flag is because a portion of the track has been lit on fire. Grass has been lit on fire. Um, and so and again, we did see this last year. So do we get a relay or the session over? We don't know yet. It's a matter of how fast they can get the track to green status. And right now, I did not set the grass on fire. I'm not a pyromaniac. Well, yes, I am. I was in Boy Scouts, but that's a different issue. He is eating McDonald's chicken nuggets. Not now. That was before. That was before before Evan got on. I was eating. Never mind. Um, my God, you guys are horrible. Um, Resume. We don't know why resume. Why third red flag? Track caught on fire. Grass that is dry took a spark from somewhere and it lit it on fire. So, so basically, we're waiting to see how fast they get the track to a green flag status. So we do have a green flag. We've gone green flag. And I think it's 15:53, so that would be in another minute. They're going to go back. So, so they're going to go back. My top is only 3 red flags in one session. My 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 streak is 6 sessions in a row with a red flag. That's the record you're looking for. 6 flags. Those are sessions in a row. In one session, I've seen 3 red flags. if we get another red flag, that would break my single session number, which is 3 right now. So I would get my fourth. If I get my fourth red flag, I'd get a new record, and that would definitely bring the session to a close because we're under 7 minutes ago. So we're about to go green light in a few seconds now. To look at good fire barbecue. If you see a fire emoji on the track through this weekend, now you know why. Because we've done this before. Yeah, all three practices are 1 hour. No, Catlin, that's not true. There are pre-practices where they're extending another 30 minutes, and that's because they're doing a Pirelli test and need that extra time. So there are some cases where the test goes an extra 30 minutes. There are also scenarios where if something happens, they may extend another practice to give them more time in another where they lose time in one session, they'll pick it up in another session type scenario. For example, I forget at preseason testing the first day we lost power at the track. It was either the first or second day we lost power at the track, and that basically was an hour lost in that morning session, which was then picked up as an additional hour in the afternoon session. So here we go. We've got 5 minutes and 45 seconds left to go in this session right now. Again, you're listening to we are green right now. We'll see how long that lasts. This is Grash, your Harbinger Red Flags. We are here at Suzuka. So, and we've got pretty much everyone's getting out onto track at this moment to get whatever they can get in these last 5 minutes. Being summoned in by in Discord channel. F1 TV is showing basically a replay of Russell being a complete beast on track and passing people like it's a race. Is it too late for another red flag? Never say never. We have 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. So if someone stops, we will get a red flag. That's odd. We just had the timing tower show an empty garage as opposed to his driver camp. So right now we've got Norris at the top of the chart. He's on. Looks like everyone's using. Yeah, they're all used tires because they were out on track already. That's why. But we got Norris first, Isaac second, Oscar third, Hamilton fourth, Lawson fifth, Leclerc seventh, Verstappen is eighth, Gasly is ninth. Again, with the disruptions we've had on track, you take these times as you see fit. So Oscar's going P1 with 128.114. He's 49 thousandths faster than his teammate currently, though Lando is on a fast lap right now. He's about to come to the line. And does not improve in his time. So it's still just a 0.049 difference between the two. Isaac is now third. He's 4 tenths behind. Hamilton is 4.3 tenths behind. Lawson 4.45 behind. So again, Verstappen is 5.5. So Lawson is ahead by about a tenth, and Isaac a tenth and a half for Isaac. So we'll see if their science is on improving in his times. We'll see. He's to come to the line right now. He's going to move up to 10th. We've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go in this session. When we're done, you're going to be taken to basically the FP3 stream. If you can give us a like before you go, that'd be great. I know we had Evan today. I want to thank him for what his for his commentary before his internet gave us its own red flag. Um, FP3, we will have Scotch in for FP3. So, and then you'll see me again for Quali. I believe I'm going to have someone with me with Quali. So I don't know who it is just yet, but we'll we'll either know tomorrow FP3 or it'll be a surprise for you for Quali. And then the hopefully it will be Scotch and Evan for the race this Sunday. So I'll be around. I'll most likely be in chat, but I won't be on stream. Again, I was prepared to be on stream, but yeah, I was prepared to jump in if something were to happen. We've got a minute and 22 seconds left to go. I'm just trying to look right now. Is anyone? No one's basically pushing at the moment. Is Norris? What's Norris doing? Norse picked up speed in two subsectors. Fastest one of the subsectors for some reason. So basically, Max is saying that he's got an issue front end. Stroll incident, failing to follow race directions instructions. So they'll that will be taken care of after the session. I'm just looking right now. Leclerc has a couple of subsectors, but he's not really pushing. And then, wait, we have a red flag again? Oh my God. 17 seconds ago, we have a red flag. So what caused it? Another patch of grass is on fire. Well, this session has come to a close in a flaming end once again. Another section of grass has caught fire. Where is this? Oh, that's moving quickly too. Ooh, that's heading towards an Armco barrier and it's moving very quickly. So we have okay. New red what single session record for red flags. I mean, I've had whole sessions go. I mean, so there's two records that I've had. I've had basically a whole session be one whole red flag. That was Canada when there was an issue with science, and it was science, and they realized there was when part of the problem was the cameras were the safety cameras weren't working, and that brought out a red flag for the whole session. The other one that went pretty much is science again in Vegas, where he basically pulled up a drain cover. So those were whole red flag sessions. Whereas here, I've got four red flags, legit four red flags in a session. Yeah, I am your harbinger of red flags. Yeah, obviously no practice starts because it's too dangerous to have them go around the track. Flame-proof grass. That's cold water, Sema. That's called water the grass. Yeah, no, this is a scenario where they need literally. I don't know what they can do because that grass looks dead. It's dry and it's dead, and that's why it's like a spark is hitting in that grass and it's catching on fire. So it will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the track for this. I voted for. Why did you vote? Why are you voting for me? What did? What am I on? Um. So that leaves us with basically our session with Isaac. Sorry, Oscar first, Norris second, and Isaac third in this session. Hamilton is fourth, Lawson is fifth, Russell is sixth, Leclerc is seventh, Verstappen is eighth, Gasly's ninth. Um, Yeah, again, we don't have really representative. I mean, we don't have all representative times because of the number of red flags we had. All right. I want to thank everyone who came here. We had over 2,500 of you at one point. We've had four red flags. How can that happen? I don't know. It just did. Um, Next time you will hear from me will be Quali. And again, the next session will be Scotch in FP3. You'll be taken to the FP session right now. If you can give us a like before you go, that will help us. Again, I want to thank over 2,000 of you who are here, the 571 likes. If you haven't subscribed, now's the time to do it. Hit that bell. You'll get notifications when we go live. Yeah, this is. Oh my God, you guys are being mean to me. No, no. I am the red flag specialist, but anyways, all right. I will see you again. See you in quali again for the Racing League YouTube channel. We've had four red flags. I will see you in quali. Take care, everyone. Be safe, and I will take. We will see you soon. Take care.